It's always fun when new companies enter the scene and create a product that you just never really thought of before. And I think that's what Opal has been doing with their C1. It's this webcam. I made a full video on it before, which I'll leave linked down below if you want to check it out. But I think it's a great product from both execution and just, design perspective. And the C1 was their first product. They're a pretty small company that's been backed by some pretty big YouTubers that you and I both know. But it is time for them to release something new. And instead of just updating the C1 and making like a C2, they went a completely different direction. And this is Tadpole. One of the things I appreciate about Opal is the design and the focus on design, because that's just something I care about. There are tons of options for webcams, both portable and for your desktop, but design is not necessarily the forward-facing feature. But for someone that cares about design like me, I actually want that. That's why I really appreciated the C1, because yes, it was a more premium price, but it did have a premium form factor. And when it's something that I'm going to have at my desk at all times, well, I care about that. And luckily, they brought that philosophy over to the Tadpole as well. And what I love is that this is all you need. Everything is designed and integrated into one piece. I don't have to bring an extra cable. I don't have to remember to charge it. Nothing. This is it. Now, clearly it looks a lot different than what they released with the C1, and that's because it's meant to be used in a completely different way. Instead of using it at your desktop, like what you would use the C1 for, this is made for when you're on the go, specifically for when you're with a laptop. And everything they chose to include with the camera is with that use case in mind. Oh, by the way, this also works with the iPad. Apple now lets you use webcams externally with the iPad, and this plugs right in and just works. So it plugs in over USB Type-C, and this is an integrated cable, which at first I thought maybe wasn't the best idea, because if something happened to the cable, well, then you're not going to be able to use it anymore. But this cable is a complete integration. There's actually features built in, which I'll talk about in a second, that, you kind of need. So if the cable goes bad, well, you're going to have to replace the whole thing. So, give and take there. But it's a very clean setup. It actually has cable organization built in. They can just slide up or down. So when it's not in use, it's very compact. And when it is, you have plenty of cable length to reach the port. Now, the actual camera itself has an integrated clip that you can open and clamp on to the lid of your laptop. And it's rubberized, so it's, not going to damage anything. It's going to sit nicely up top. And then, of course, you have the camera and microphone system. This actually has a Sony IMX 4K half-inch sensor built in, which is pretty impressive, but it's capped at 1080p 30 for the output, and it's a 70-degree field of view, so it's not super wide, but wide enough for, taking calls. Now, I mentioned that the cable had a special feature built in, and well, it does. Over at the USB-C end where it plugs in, there's actually a mute switch on this section. So if you just tap it, it'll turn red, and that means you're muted, or if you tap it again, it'll go away, and you're not muted anymore. This is a nice physical switch that wouldn't be able to fit on the camera itself, but since it's integrated with the cable, you just get more features, and I think that's a really nice touch. Now, this is great, but I think the question is, why this over some other options? And there's, again, like I said, tons of options out there, but it really comes down to that portability and convenience. Like, for instance, Apple, of course, has their continuity camera feature with the iPhone, so you could use that as a webcam, and it does work great, and the quality is excellent, but like I mentioned in my C1 video, I don't like using this feature because I like to use my phone while I'm in meetings for, checking notes, taking notes, anything that just comes up. And when you're using continuity cam, you just don't have access to your phone, which I don't think is the best solution. It's nice in a pinch, but it's not a dedicated solution, at least not to me. And then you got other options like this that are just so bulky and big that, yes, you could take it with you, but it's not really meant to be portable. So I think where Opal is really, trying to excel, and where I think they do excel, is bringing all of this together. You have the quality of the camera, you have the portability, and just the ease of use, and you put that all together and you get Tadpole. So that is pretty much what Tadpole is, but let's put it to use, because there are a few cool features I want to show you. So what you're seeing now is the Tadpole. You can see the field of view, you can see the general quality. Now, this does work with the Opal Composer software, so you can change a bunch of things. I can go in here and, change the bokeh and make it blurry in the background. I can zoom in, I can make it track my face. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with this software. But one thing that I really like is that this has noise cancellation built in for the microphone. So what you're hearing is the microphones from my MacBook Pro. It's just the ones that are built in, and they sound actually pretty good. They're regarded to have really good microphones built in, and they do. But when you have noise around, that's where Tadpole is going to come in handy. So Got a speaker right here. I'm going to play some crowd noise as if, we're in a coffee shop. You can kind of, just hear what that sounds like with the microphone. It's not all that great. But now we switch over to Tadpole, and you can hear that noise cancellation working. Now, is it perfect? No, you can still hear some of the audio in the background, but you can hear my voice much more easily because it's a directional microphone that is focused on me, and I think it works really great. So overall, even with this still playing, you get great audio and you get great video quality as well in this tiny camera. So for $175, if you're going to be on your webcam a lot and you're not at your desk, you're with your laptop, I think it's worth investing in something that just is a little bit more convenient and looks a little better. If you want to check out more or pick one up for yourself, I'll leave links to everything down in the description below. But check out Tadpole and see if this can up your portable webcam game.